But Liquid, they have room to make plays, right? Which is always really exciting, especially in Tier 1 games where everyone is extremely talented.
That's a very good point, and I do want to add to that. Is like the issue, like when you usually see an outdraft, is if you actually go and break down the outdraft, most of the time is that you expect there's a moment in the game where one of the teams can't make plays, right? And usually that's when we talk about outdraft, where they're going to have no option to split push, no option to team fight, no option to get pickoffs or anything. And you're right that I think that Liquid's draft is so good, like in a just a theoretical draft sense, but they're never going to be in that position, which is great. So they always have the chance to come back into the game. They always have the chance to be able to play, which I'm glad that you remarked that. The question is, will they be able to execute that to that degree? We'll see. OG's draft is also in a small position where the team fights are not the easiest to execute. Those black holes got to land. Those arenas got to be good. You're right. But they do have the DK to give them the ease a little bit more, right? With that blink stuff.
Yeah, agreed. And not to say OG can also make some of these big plays, right? It is a DK.
Yeah, they're similar.
It is a DK mid, right? But he can still cut waves, much like an offlaner would. Uragi can always go for the Acceptor, which is still Omega bonkers, right? Let's be honest, Ionic Projection, it got nerfed, but like
at least you can root her now. Actually, you know what? Spreader, the leash stops it now.
Good point. Level 20, his eyes got to get there, and I imagine he will.
That's a great talent, let me tell you.
Especially
that is a great talent.
Since it pierces magic immunity, so.
Yeah, who knew that the biggest counter to Pango was NP of all heroes that usually got destroyed by him. And I like that you remarked the point that DK can split push lanes. I think that's one of the strengths that people are starting to see in DK these days. That early shard allows him to push lanes so quickly, gives him a farming ability, which is important, which means you don't have to max breathe fire. Thank God, nobody wants to do that. But on top of that, it's the ability to, if you can't get kills, DK feels like he falls off really quickly, because he can't push more than the tier 1s realistically alone, and he can't really, go and get ganked. So the shard gives him another dimension to the hero, which is nice.
Yep.
Early shard, mind you.
And this is going to be another DK versus Ember matchup, and I do like this one a little bit better in the mid lane. I think this is better for DK compared to the long lane, so I expect BZM
much more
to do a lot better here compared to last time.
Because the stun for DK, because he has no damage to go with it, it rarely leads to a kill, right? Unless you're like underneath the tower, or of course you're supported by something, right? So DK essentially needs a lot of damage on his 4 if he wants to play that off lane and beat the Ember that way. In the mid lane, the stun is just to make sure you get denies here, and Ember can't really chase you down with his overwhelming damage as easy.
Sai is starting to... Oh, wait, not Zai. Pardon me, Zai. Well, he's got the boys, right? He's got some hot, successful viewers right now in lane with him. But so does Taiga. He's got his own
great music taste.
Yeah, great music taste. Welcome to the Bone Zone, all that stuff, right? By the way, the hat game from Liquid, if I can just make a useless piece of analysis compared to all my other useless ones anyway, it's super strong for Liquid. Like, they've got Mushroom Hat for Zai. It looks amazing, right? Mickey's got a really, really nice hat as well. And also the Grimstroke cosmetics for Insanio look great. So, good cosmetic game for Liquid.
Matumba, though, just the pebble.
Just the pebble.
When he grows, he'll be a bit more pretty.
Yeah. He might have the Christmas tree. No, he doesn't.
Unfortunately, Matumba. After the El Doge performance, I'm a little bit disappointed by this cosmetics. But we'll see how his tiny performance is. Maybe the uglier his hero looks, the better the plays are.
That's going to be a bottle refill denied from Mickey. He just got it, so it's not that big of a deal. And again, the DK not really too rich in the harass, right? His game is more just outlasting the other mid laner. But
and denying with a dragon tail. Ooh, wow, big whoop.
Yeah, so not the biggest deal, but OG did feel the need to rotate away. Sai is going to go home and refill. He's going to just TP back into lane, of course. No big deal.
I think a lot of viewers are kind of sad that BZM is bringing back the DK into competitive because I'm sure everyone's favorite mid lane matchup is, DK, DP, woo, what's going to happen? Who's going to get more last hits?
Yeah, luckily DP is like first ban material right now.
Thank God for that.
She is.
Someone's going to be like, you know what's good against DK mid? Morphling mid. You're like, yeah, that's what I want to watch. Medusa mid is back. Let's make it as boring as possible for the viewers. Luckily, the Mars from the offlane is going to bring a lot of excitement, and he is already, as he's playing the lane as aggressively as he can against Matumba. This lane early tends to go slightly tiny favored, just because of the tree grab, but then you get some kill potential like we're seeing here. Disruption, but no spear to follow up.
I don't feel like it right now. That's fine. I don't think...
You're not going to kill the tiny, so it's fair.
I don't think they're too pressured. Amar's getting pretty good farm. I did remark earlier when I was batting for Liquid's lineup saying, OG, they don't have like a ton of plays to make. I mean, I say that, but of course it's Amar on Mars, right? It's just Amar in general. Who knows what he's going to buy? Probably still the...
Oh, Uragi top?
Oh.
That was just auto attacks that killed him, and a nice couple body blocks by Zai, and Taiga's the next target. They don't have Rolling Boulder though, so they're not going to finish him off. But First Blood being an enemy carry, already looking really good for Liquid, taking advantage of that lane. Mid lane though, they get the Dragon Tail, and the kill potential of BZM uses Breathe Fire, but only level 1. DK gives up immediately, realizing that once Dragon Tail's over, kill's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Amar being harassed a little bit as Misha picks up the kill bot lane onto Insania. Matumba, of course, much too tanky with a single Wraith Band, giving him a little bit of armor, which goes a long way on this hero.
Are they going to go for Matumba?
I think they can, yeah. And actually, you know, that kill happens because Mickey had an empty bottle. He didn't get the water bottle refill, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't have been that low, and BZM is very unlikely to get that kill. So maybe...
Well, he didn't get it, right?
Sorry?
He didn't. BZM
well,
didn't
he didn't get the kill,
He threatened it. Yeah.
But he doesn't get...
He did have a salve, though, so it's Mika's going to be fine. I don't think that was that big a deal overall. The mid lane, honestly, every time you get a kill, if you don't get it now, it feels like such a waste of your time because there's immediately water runes, they have so many bottle refills, and they just have healing for days.
True.
Harassing in mid lane feels like it's not really worth your time.
Roll, and Boulder's going to miss top lane, so Boxy kicks a rock at Yuragi. No points in the meld yet, so they can't punish the low base armor, but they do at least have the Blightstone, which is really chunking through Boxy now as Taiga is going to focus back onto Taiga, trying to block him now with the boys. Zai, decent damage here. Taiga completely blocked off and will be killed.
Good surround. Zai clearly a Warcraft 3 player, and that's going to make it 2 now kills in the top lane for Liquid. A strong lane for sure, but I wasn't expecting this many kills. And Boxy gonna get a stun off as well. Yuragi has no refraction, and they know this. They're gonna dive him. Yuragi has refraction in a second, but he's not gonna be able to use it in time. He's going to fall to Zai and Boxy, dominating this top lane now. Taiga also in trouble. He does have the Malefice at least to gain some space. They make sure to glyph the creep so they can continue diving this tower. Matumba does dive bottom though, but Taiga now in trouble. They get more treants here. Boxy tries to de-aggro the tower with the Rolling Boulder. They'll get Taiga. Zai won't die. Boxy will, unfortunately, to the Eidolon's damage, and the tower helping out there. But still, 2 kills they got underneath the tower, 3 in total.
Yeah.
Really well done.
3 in total, and, well, you know, Yuragi gets the experience for none of them. That kill down bottom, by the way, was just, looks like Disruption into Spear, and then they just kept stacking the Shadow Poisons. Shadow Poison level 2 looks like 5 stacks here, and that was enough to nuke through Matumba. So that's how that kill transpired down bottom, but we caught all the action top lane. And yeah, Yuragi gets none of the experience for that, so he is now going to find himself in a little bit of a pickle here. Zai almost level 6, so his farm is going to start really accelerating as middle lane. First usage now of the Elder Dragon form from BZM in conjunction with the wagon is going to trigger Boxy's rotation over from top.
Rolling Boulder will... Oh,
he didn't commit the remnant.
No, because he didn't have a remnant
he
there.
Didn't commit it,
yep.
yeah.
So BZM could be in trouble. The Yingso actually gets some of the disruption. BZM is able to at least avoid the stun, but he does get rooted now. They're continuing for him. Flame Guard damage still taking him down. There's another Rolling Boulder, but he gets killed in the middle of it. And
Here's
Misha doing his best to defend BZM. BZM still alive as a magic stick. Still, Taiga actually joins in. They're going for Mickey here. BZM surviving, not even using his magic stick the whole time. Gets salved now. What a rotation here by Misha.
Yeah, really, really well done. Getting the kill onto that Earth Spirit mid roll was crucial. I'm a little bit surprised. Maybe Boxy thought that he was going to miss that roll, so didn't want to commit the remnants.
He tunnel visioned there a little bit.
But it looks like he didn't really want to go for the long range stun. I could see that because even from this angle, I think this is the remnant he intended to hit. Can you see it right next to the tower?
Yeah, did he just barely miss it? Was it slightly to the left?
Perhaps. I'm not sure. I didn't quite see it. But either way, that's going to be a missed opportunity there for Liquid, and it relieves a lot of pressure off of Yuragi. Now he's going to be back on top here in terms of CS, very quickly accumulating the gold for his first item, which is going to be the Dragon Lance. But still, there they go. This time they connect the Rolling Boulder.
And now BZM could be in trouble for sure. Misha's coming in once again, but come on. Misha is going to die for this. They know he's the right target to kill, and now they can finish off BZM. I was going to Breathe Fire off, which at least will reduce Tiny's damage, but there's just too many heroes. He's going to be overwhelmed and killed as Zai suffers the same fate in the top lane.
Yep. They just quickly close the gap. Looks like a trap slow into the stun here. The Malefice makes it pretty much impossible for the Fury to get out of there. So OG have definitely stabilized this top lane, to say the least, if not just straight up winning it now.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of kills. I would agree. Yeah, probably winning it right with the last hits. Net worth on the TA is really good. However, of course, they had to sacrifice BZM as a result. But I think the current DK, at least how we saw him last game, is okay with this. Like, he's kind of okay with not having the best lady experience, as long as he can get his shard timing and blink timing more or less okay. Because he scales much better than previous DKs. And by tanking, he is creating space. Okay, maybe this is a bit too excessive. Activates Dragon Form. We're looking for him again.
They need to basically commit 4 heroes to kill him, though. So again, it is a lot of space right now. I think he would very much...
Also, look at Misha.
Yeah,
he's living here now.
He's ready to go. He would very much like to get this tower, though, on this Elder Dragon form. His next opportunity is going to be just as strong, though, with a 10-minute wagon also kind of spawning in by the time he's got the cooldown ready to go. So he's perfectly timing this, so I don't think he really loses anything, especially if he doesn't die. Forces Boxy to rotate on over, even though they might not know that. He's probably going to have some sort of idea, right?
Oh. Dragon Tail hits Mickey, but nothing there. Instead, Misha. Yeah, they've identified the right target. It has to be Misha the whole time. Otherwise, he saves the DK. Stroke of Fate will slow him down. Boxy wants to continue attacking him. He might just kill him with the Inkswell. Misha's giving up on life, and now the DK could be in trouble himself. Solves the Magic Stick. Uses it. BZM. Yes, that's not going to be enough recovery against, again, 4 heroes overwhelming him in the mid lane.
This could be the tower now as well, and almost a full vessel online for Zai, which is going to significantly reduce the amount of space that this DK is going to be able to make, right? That percentage-based damage, and most importantly, probably for the DK, although the percentage-based damage ain't bad, is that heal reduction. Black hole.
Boxy, oh, they've committed a black hole for him with the Eidolons. Boxy is going to die here.
Stay out of my jungle.
Misha, though. He has to use the disruption to save himself. Taiga wants to help out his fellow support, but all he can do is Malefice. Misha running underneath the tower, still level 4 because he keeps on dying. Gets body blocked slightly by BZM, who comes in with a Dragon Tail. Uragi with a slow as well. Mickey does have the Remnant to get away for now. They changed targets. Maybe it's better to go for the Grimstroke. Mickey's Remnant actually now behind him. No longer does he want to go to it, but they don't have any stuns, and I have to let him go.
Matumba, in the meantime, is going to try and knock down this tower, going for the Echo Saber first. Pardon me, has the full quarterstaff completed, so just making very, very quick progress now towards that Ogre X, and I'll have it online as far as his items are coming along. Ogre X already online for Uragi. He's put that one into the Dragonlance and is next straight into the Desolator, so his farm is going to continue accelerating. But of course, the natural farmer, probably one of the fastest earlier farmers in the game, outside of, I guess, Coddle, is going to be Nature's Prophet. He simply presses R and farms the entire visible map. Zai is very rich and has the full vessel completed.
I'm glad Coddle gets an honorary mention there just because of Knight's performance.
Yep, it was ridiculous. I was watching that game live and couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Yes, even with the nerfs to him, right, as well, you think, oh, it
was just crazy. I remember watching that game and just, for Mind Control's eyes, like he was taking a fight and kind of winning the fight. 6 minutes in, all of a sudden he sees a Coddle BOT's in on the wave. Just like, what do you do? Like, that's not supposed to happen. BOT's level 6 or minute 6. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. That's the 9 special, though. I think he buys BOTs on every hero because he's the quickest BOT buyer in the Wild West.
Yeah, he is.
As Matumba, he's gone over to the top lane just to get a bit more space. It's that moment of the game where, I mean, Tiny can't really join in fights, or he can, sort of, but only if they are force-fed to him. So he's just looking for the safest farm right now before OG can really hit their stride. OG themselves, Desolator is halfway done for the TA.
They're
That's probably going to be the timing they fight
on. Pretty big, actually, especially because they will get this kill easily. So the smoke gank paying off. Of course, Zai has the ability to just appear wherever he needs to be.
A bit too aggressive maybe by Amar. I guess he was trying to copy or mimic, or mirror rather, the Tiny's movements, right? But good counter gank, you could say.
Oh, and now this opens up Liquid to make some aggressive moves. But OG were ready for it. Uragi not wasting any time. I mean, plus he was waiting for the creeps to spawn in. But a nice play there by Liquid, but an even better read by OG.
And now we got Blink Dagger and DK, so it's time for Liquid to actually make plays. That's going to be a big deal for them. I talked about the importance of Shard, and Shard is still important, but Blink is still the timing for the DK, obviously. You might not go for the ganking squad with the TA, instead just use the Mars, and that should be enough damage to kill most people.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. Let me just check in on our support levels. Everyone's at least level 6 now, with Boxy actually reaching up to level 7. This is huge for him, because now he's got the maxed rolling boulder. Mostly best for its reduced cooldown. The damage at this stage, not too much, again, considering it's going to be based a bit off of your strength, which did get nerfed. They nerfed his strength gain quite a bit. This Earth Spirit. He used to have one of the highest strength gains. I think he was like 4.1 or something, kind of ridiculous, but they added Primal Beast, and Earth Spirit quivered.
So does Centaur.
Yeah, so does Centaur.
I think the change to him made more sense though, because to Earth Spirit, because at least his rolling boulder now based on strength makes sense that you want to reduce the strength gain. For Centaur, they just did my boy dirty. That's all I'm gonna say. Add a leash to the abs.
And this is a really interesting build on Earth Spirit. Sorry to hyper focus on this hero, but again, he's a fun one.
No, I'm glad.
He is gonna go. Yeah,
Helm.
he's gonna go Helm. I was maybe thinking he's gonna go for the Veil of Discord just to amp all the magic damage that his team does early on.
Yeah, with the crown.
With the crown, but No, instead he's going to decide for the helm. He can still change it, of course, until he commits.
Taiga has Black Hole, but does he get the chance to use it? He was thinking about it there.
Still thinking about it.
would have cancelled it. Taiga, he's dead. Again, when Liquid commits, they commit with all their heroes. Literally now, as the five are there. Beautiful body block by Mickey. Amar wants to get out of his own arena, and he finally makes it out, but the rolling boulder might still catch up to him. Mickey chasing after him. There's no mana for the spear, and he's still on cooldown anyway. Amar finally gets the mana for the spear, but he's still stunned. The spear, last second, is not going to be enough to save Amar's life. He's going to fall.
Foxy's away. This is incredibly aggressive from Liquid. Normally we see OG making these kinds of moves.
Yeah, but Liquid did used to do this a while back, right? So sometimes they don't always get into the groove, but this was the quintessential style of Liquid, even when they were the five-star players.
Oh, I agree. I'm just saying I'm surprised because Black Hole was ready, Arena was ready. Amar is going for a BKB first instead of the Blink Dagger. He has made that decision, while Taiga is going for the Blink first as well here. But that was Blink DK as well that we haven't really seen pay off yet for BZM. So Liquid kind of really making all of these supposed power spikes from OG, not really feeling too amazing yet. There's still 2 more to come for OG, so it's not like they're out of it yet by any means. And of course, Black Hole is the great equalizer. You know, Coddle made man and Enigma made them equal.
Yeah, you're never out of the game when you have a Black Hole available, right? And the best part about this is that if you lose the game, Taiga gets all the blame. That's fine, right? So everyone else feels much more comfortable with this game. Liquid, though, I love their playstyle. I completely agree with you. Especially with a Tiny, I expected them to play much more defensively, and that would give a chance to a TA to counter this. But Matumba is not only playing aggressively, but he's actually going for a more aggressive build with a Blink Dagger as a second item. No Shadowblade Silver Edge that we usually see on Tiny Carry, but instead, honestly, looking more like a Tiny mid, just kind of inverted the timing for his items. And this Echo Saber first.
So I would presuppose with this then that Mickey is going to decide to build a little bit more greedy on the Ember Spirit, quote unquote. And right now he does have the Maelstrom coming, and it is going to be the Sange and the quick buy after the bot. So Liquid, they are clearly communicating this. They're on the same page, so this is not likely to backfire on them. But here's an initiation now by OG. They are going to find the stun onto Foxy, but he quickly rolls away. Interrupted by Misha, however. But Zai has now joined the fight. Careful here, Taiga's on the prowl for a Black Hole, but from behind, that's going to be Matumba Man getting the kill onto Misha. He's going to buy back, though. The arena set up, catches 2. Boxy and Zai falling quickly, but Boxy rolls through the arena. He's going to die, actually, to the damage from BZM. As now Mickey finally shown up to this fight with confidence, finds the Searing Chains now onto BZM. Black Hole still ready. Taiga with the Blink Dagger, ready to make the jump in. Oh, but he doesn't quite go for it there. Just looking to keep Boxy at bay as Matumba slowed to a crawl by the Demonic Purge. A buyback now means that Boxy's back in this fight as well. But Matumba really starting to fall quite low. 3 stacks of the Shadow Poison. A silence here on Amisha is going to prevent any further, but they've got the damage even with the other heroes on OG to take him down. Mickey in trouble, dies thanks to the trap vision of Uragi. He's got 3 kills in this engagement. We haven't checked on him in a while, but he is clearly doing pretty well for himself. Deso and a Dragonlance. OG find a big fight, and they still have Black Hole to fight with.
Yes, as Seek and Strike said, Shiver said, Pup said one time, the threat of the Black Hole is more dangerous than the Black Hole itself. And I think you could tell that with how Liquid was positioning. They were so concerned with avoiding Taiga's Black Hole because his positioning was on point that they couldn't really fight the team fight in even terms. As they now lose Misha in the mid lane, not that big a deal, he is a 5. However, if BZM dies, that is a big deal, but BZM is a bit too tanky.
Yeah, really long.
Still though, great fight by OG.
Really long fights. I really like watching these two teams kind of skirmish because it kind of feels like just that. They're never really just blindly going all in. They're taking, it seems like, everything into consideration, doing seemingly hundreds of calculations per second, kind of clicking on enemy heroes, you know, kind of notifying each other what's ready. Does Enigma have blink? No, he just blinked here, you know, and that you can all kind of see that kind of play out. But a fantastic arena from Amar, again, without even Blink Dagger making this big play. So the fact that OG takes such a good fight for themselves, even without their 2 big items, being Blink Dagger, or sorry, BKB first on Amar, which he is quickly closing up on, and I guess that was Blink Dagger on Enigma. So 1 big item. It's a good sign for them here.
I agree. I agree with your point in the team fights, by the way, especially because we both come from doing a lot of SA Dota in general, and SA is a lot of free-flowing Dota, right, in that sense. And oftentimes the players are more concerned with, oh, let me get the big Black Hole, let me get the big ultimate, right? If you've ever watched Beast Coast, that's all Schofield does. It's like, wait, guys, I got all 5. Wait, oh, I'm solo against 5. But in this game, we're seeing much more concern over the positioning and the vision, which is really interesting to see. Taiga still has the Black Hole, by the way, but he's tapped from the trees. They want to prevent that Black Hole by killing him, but there's the Black Hole.
Oh, they didn't catch Zai?
Zai doesn't get caught, but the rolling building Boulder. Boxy gets caught inside of it. There's the arena, the follow-up team fight. They lack the damage though. Where's the TA? She's far behind. And now with a shard, they managed to kill both Matoman and Boxy. Yuragi being a bit late, but it works out regardless. Mickey has been slowed down to a crawl, but his Remnant is down to the low ground. So it's gonna be fine for now. As Insania, the target? No, they just have to go for the big one. The big fish. Is it gonna be Mickey? They do get him with a beautiful spear. Not even the Inkswell will save him. Insania will just be the
right into Roche
for this wonderful fight.
Right into Roche as well. This
done.
is so perfect for OG. It could not have gone better. They just used all their big abilities, their big black hole. Once again, this 80-second cooldown arena of blood, and they literally get the last kill inside the Roche. But that could not go more perfect for OG. That's...
Oh, and bottom they didn't get Zai as well because they realized DK doesn't deal any damage to the Roche. Doesn't deal any damage in general.
Is incredible.
He just drops the fireball. Zai's gonna die. Too much fire for Zai to deal with, and the H is still going the way of OG.
OG on another level. That's the second time they make an incredible read like this. I mean, it's just fantastic. Matumba a little bit too aggressive there with the haste rune. He does kind of the classic pro player play where they get a haste rune and they go, oh, I'm unkillable, and just keep running in. He was scouted by this ward, it would seem, when he did make that initial blink. So it does allow, I think, Taiga to get that first blink back, and from there, it kind of starts to overextend a bit. That's Aegis, though.
That's the Aegis lost immediately. I think that might be 2 lives as well. Yuragi, even if he has TP, there's no way he's BKB TPing against a Tiny, and he's just going to accept that twice.
Well,
you know,
what happens?
Yeah, exactly. What is the Newton's third law for reactions? An equal and opposite reaction, right?
That's correct.
So if you make a great play, it just makes sense they have to feed right afterwards.
Do you know how that compares to Cole's law?
What is Cole's law?
Coleslaw is just lettuce and mayonnaise chopped up. Come on, don't you know?
Yeah, with apparently served in every single American barbecue.
Yeah, that is mostly true. And this game's kind of looking like a barbecue for Liquid at the well, I don't know. It's kind of a barbecue for both ways. Right now, I suppose there's more fire for OG, given they have the breathe fireball. But a nice little back and forth game here. But again, Liquid, right now, at this time of the game, in a much better position to punish based off of enemy mistakes like that, right? With Tiny being so strong early, with Zai simply being able to push now, especially with the Sprouts, or just the Ag Shard in general, bringing the greater Treants. Like, the push from OG eventually will definitely come online once Yuragi has more items. He's not quite there yet, though. And he is actually going to be building into the Ag Scepter like we talked about earlier. OG, however, in the meantime, are going to be smoked up and on the prowl looking for a fight. No black hole for 40 seconds, but they do have a BKB now for Amar at the ready.
I'm going to have to settle for Insania. That's just a 5 tank in the gank, though. Need something better. At least Boxy will do. And they can at least catch him. They have a spear ready. There we go. Boxy's going to die in the enemy triangle. And they also threaten them a little bit in the enemy triangle. Not that big a gank, because he only kills supports, but you need to put some pressure still as OG without losing the advantage. As you well mentioned, the push on Liquid is really, really strong right now. And as OG, you essentially don't have much room for making mistakes. It's like playing against a Luna. If she has hit her timing and you lose a single team fight, all of a sudden you're 2 racks down and you're like, what happened? That's the Tiny effect. You got to be really careful with these engagements.
Yeah, exactly. Same goes for Liquid now, though, with, well, once again, Ags being in the quick buy from Yuragi. He's not going to really have to commit to this. Well, as soon as he buys really any component, he's basically all in. What would
I think he should. What's the big deal with like I think it's a good item at any point, and I'm also thinking to myself, what other items would you like?
A Blink.
Crit? Oh, Blink. I think on carry TA, I don't think that's necessary. To be honest.
Normally I completely agree with you, but I think this game the rest of your cores are going to be a little bit too far up. You know, with Enigma, Mars, and DK. I would presuppose that with those 3, they should give you enough lockdown to simply walk up and start cleaving people. Perhaps that's his idea.
Exactly.
And perhaps what the cores should do.
Oh, Omar. Well, walk it up. He does have BKB, and Arena's still ready. Is this going to be a good fight for OG? They do have Mickey. That Soulbind does annoy the guys at OG a little bit. They're going to have to settle for Matumba. He is still the carry, though, so it's a pretty big kill as Matumba falls. Box trying to get a counter kill here onto Misha. In goes Mickey again, trying to distract the enemy team to make sure his brother can escape, but Taiga is not going to let him get away. Boxy will fall. The TPs are ready, though, for Liquid, so they will only lose 2 here. Oh, no, I was wrong. Mickey has been caught. Fire against fire. BZM is happy to continue attacking Mickey here with Yuragi now joining in. Wishes he had a Blink Dagger right about now. Insania, they see him, and they'll have to settle for the 5. but because they killed Matumba, this is a much better team.
Oh yeah, so much better. That's the strength of the WBKB reveal right there, right? BZM had one.
Yes.
I didn't scout. Amar, of course, was holding on to his throughout that last fight. Now has a Blink Dagger to make these even better, so huge power spikes from OG. Unfortunately, they're not really going to be able to take a huge objective after this fight. They're going to set up jungle control at the very least. Man, Boxy is so good at Earth Spirit, though. He does exactly his job here. The fight starts off super awkwardly for him. Let me just finish cutting this replay. But you can see he does an amazing job just continuing to lock down this Shadow Demon. Unfortunately for the rest of Liquid, despite him doing a perfect job at doing this, he still gets off his basic abilities. And, well, the rest of Liquid's just not really in position or not really able to fight inside the arena too easily. So they kind of just have to abandon that team fight as Matumba has no tools of leaving the arena as Mickey does. And with Boxy on the opposite side and Zai TPing in trying to snipe Misha, yeah, not going too well for Liquid there. But you can see Boxy knows what he's here to do. He's got to shut down that Shadow Demon.
Yeah, Misha, once again, being the kind of the unsung hero, right? The Phantom position 6 here of OG's draft, where they have to kill him first every time, both with Pugna and the Shadow Demon being a real nuisance to Liquid. Though in that team fight, as you pointed out already, it's the BKBs that make the difference. That's why you smoke on these timings, and with most item timings, you just smoke on them because otherwise the gold is just in your bag and is wasted. But with the BKBs, it's because you can counter-initiate pretty much anything with a 9-second BKB.
And Liquid are going to fight here again, but there's still a ward from the last time that OG were here, so they're going to look for a pick-off first onto Insania. Pops a big wand, but Yuragi's even bigger. He will get that kill.
It's just Insania, right? It's just a 5-turn to cut the lanes a little bit. If they lose Mickey, though, that's a big deal.
Well, Misha's
but
on the hunt.
They don't have any
Misha,
stuns.
by the way, now with the Demonic Purge, sorry, the Demonic Cleanse, as well as Demonic
Love
Purge.
that item. Yeah. I'm glad that some people are finally buying it. When I first saw the Shadow Demon being picked up in the open qualifiers, nobody was buying the shard. I was like, what? I talked to Duster, and Duster's like, yeah, the shard's broken. And it just convinced me that people just weren't trying it out. So
very good.
It's very good in any game.
So Demonic Cleanse, what he does is he brews a tea for his friends, and then he gives them the tea cleanse. It's a tea tox. As Mickey, he could use one of those right now. He's going to be continuously stunned here. Does not have a Remnant back. This is a lot of damage from BZM, who's going to BKB to shrug off the Rolling Boulder from Earth Spirit. Mickey is going to be out of the fight as jumping in and sniping Insania yet again is Yuragi. Boxy now is going to be the one in trouble as he does get off a Rolling Boulder. Nice kickback onto Amar, but the damage from BZM is still too high, and they've even caught Zai from behind. He tries to cover himself, TP out, but he is going to be picked off. 3 dead. And this is the second time that they fought around this ward that OG have placed down. Looks like they finally have scouted it, but a little bit too late. OG, that ward has definitely paid off.
Yeah, this means tower now for OG, which is a big deal. And on top of that, usually when we talk about supports dying not being a big deal, it's because the carries are farming elsewhere. But in the past few fights, it's been the carries being involved and just not being able to do enough, right? So they retreat in time, but they aren't using that space to farm either. So it did suck a little bit. OG's push is also nothing to be scoffed at with DK and Enigma.
True.
They're not quite the level of Tiny, but they're up there.
They're up there, and in fact, they might catch the Tiny here. Misha just needs the vision for the Demonic Purge. Anyway, Demonic Cleanse, the way it actually works is it's much like an ulti that you cast on your allies that doesn't do any damage. It doesn't slow them, but it does dispel for its entire 7-second duration. For those of us,
and a heal at the
and
end.
a heal, yes, very true. And he's done it here now. It has the same sound effect, and it also shows up as a debuff for some reason. But they're hunting Mickey, and they won't get him.
It also, so essentially it's the inverse Demonic Purge, but for allies, right? So it gives you the extra movement speed, etc. So there you saw it being used for the movement speed. A lot of uses to this, and now that it's a separate skill, it doesn't waste Demonic Purge charge when you get it, which makes it really strong. And also combined with the Ags, because Ags gives both spells 3 charges, which is a really big deal.
Yes, it's really, really nice for the hero, especially because this is a hero who, given space, can certainly farm that item, unlike a hero like Bane. For those very hardcore Dota observers that watch a lot of Dota and kind of can just, you maybe mute us because you can kind of know what's going on just by watching the screen. You'll notice that this little triangle is a little glitched right now. It should be always showing up for the ultimate ability. It only shows up for Demonic Cleanse, so do keep in mind that it's a little bit confusing, and it has the same sound cue. I do hope they fix that, but given that Troll's Rampage is still the same sound effect as his ultimate, probably not, so just get used to it, I guess.
Yeah, also, the Ursa shard as well. That's my favorite one.
Enrage.
It's like, oh, we got to fight him the Enrage. Wait, he's enraged 6 times in the past couple of seconds? How is this possible?
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing, but it's okay. Just I think it'll get even more confusing once he has Ags and there's 6 people affected by this, and yeah, that'll be a little crazy. But
I volunteer Suns fan to record these new sound effects. I think he would be great for that. Let me tell you.
Great.
Yeah. I think one of them should be a belch. I would actually love it if this demonic cleanse was a belch the whole time.
Yeah, it should belch instead of making the demonic purge noise at the end.
Yes,
honestly.
exactly. That would be, if that was how Sunsfang gets into the game, I think that would be completely accepted by the community. Insania, he does have that Inkswell. This time it's much better, right? This is the kind of support gank that is him creating space because your team is farming and you're just kind of covering probably the most dangerous lane right now. You tank a gank. It's good.
That being said, Liquid, I will say, are slightly lucky that it's a longer Rosh. It doesn't seem like they're really too confident in fighting for this one, but both teams definitely know that it's in the Roshan window right now. We know it's going to respawn in a minute. They don't know that. They just know it can respawn now. So that's...
Sorry, Richie.
Go ahead.
I just want to point out, can you just look at Amar's items for a second? Because he's doing the Amar thing again.
Oh, he's got a basher.
Yes, he's doing the thing where it's like, guys, I'm carrying, right? As he did with the Underlord SNY. I am fascinated by this. It does trigger on God's Rebuke, but obviously doesn't get an extra chance.
There you go. He's going to find Zai in the trees, and Zai likely in a lot of trouble. Yuragi pops the VKB. Matumba is going to do the same here and pop through Taiga, but the Basher is going to cancel the TP from Matumba, and the tips as Amar is going to let it go first. Oh man, that is going to be Liquid losing 2 heroes. I mean, hey, if it works.
Okay. That's it. Yeah. He's a genius. Amar's a genius. There's no way that Matumba is meant to expect a Basher on the Mars. Are you kidding me? Like, on this team, nobody really does build Basher effectively, right? I guess DK sort of could. So I am really happy that Amar had the tip ready. Because he knew how screwed up
it was second hit. Second hit, he bashed him. It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
That is... always going to be slightly
did he hit creeps beforehand? Did he up that pseudo random chance on the
You know, I didn't quite catch it. I don't think he did. I think it was just second hit. 25% chance, right? So not the most unlucky or lucky thing, right?
Yeah, what a second hit would be like around 20% or so probably.
Mickey might be in a bit of trouble. They need some burst damage from Yuragi. They're not going to quite have it. I believe that's going to chase that projectile. It will. Oh, it's not enough. Not going to reach him anyway in time.
I'd like Yuragi, by the way, to buy the shard, because I think when you go for the Ags plus the shard, I think that silence is really, really valuable. Because you can just like appear out of nowhere and be the initiation that you require. And I think that for Ember particularly can cancel him. And he's doing a lot of traps out of vision, which is clever, so he always has them ready. But you could have a couple traps in lane where you just surprise them by silencing them. And it's not that expensive to buy a shard on the TA, honestly.
Speaking of Ags and shards, Zai's actually decided to buy the Ag Scepter this game. He hasn't gone for like I don't know, an Orchid like I perhaps thought he would.
Yeah, so much more of a utility NP.
Insania's going to die. He's going to tank another gank here. This time Roche is up, and it'll likely lead OG straight into that, as BZM's going to jump in with his own stuff to secure the kill. And why not take the Tier 1 tower? This is... now that they have Tier 1 mid and top taken, like just to come back to my Radiant has a better Roche lineup, now the closest TP point is going to be to the Tier 2 tower, which is a bit scary because now you have to run up this hill or cross this path. Either way, like a ward here, sometimes even a ward here is pretty common from Dire when you're playing aggressively. They're all going to scout you. So now Roche becomes very difficult to fight for Liquid, especially because Yuragi does it in like 10 seconds, and now he has a shard.
Yep. Free shard, yeah, for Yuragi. And also, on top of that point, Amar knew exactly where to be positioned, because if the enemy team wanted to go in, they had to go for their own triangle, and Amar was going to block that. Even if Amar dies for that, honestly, for Roche, it's completely worth it. And frankly, with BKB, I think it's really difficult to die this game, because you can always TP. You don't really have any good Basher carriers here on Liquid.
Yeah,
Ember,
the Ember ain't,
maybe.
Ember ain't bad, but because you can't control what you Sleight of Fist bounce onto first, like you might, it might not be perfect.
Yeah, exactly. But if Amar's buying it at this point, it's not crazy for Ember to buy the Basher as well.
By the way,
right?
just to kind of show everyone that, yes, they have indeed really changed and shuffled up the neutral creeps. Boxy's actually first creep of choice is the Ghost of all of them.
It's so strong because the attack slow, genuinely, in the team fights. It's kind of a nuisance here. Obviously, vision is much better, but usually when you bring a creep, like 30 minutes with a helm, which is what supports do, right? They're not going to get it like 15 minutes. You're not looking for the strongest creep that's going to push the lane. You're looking for creeps that have some utility that's usually hidden, right? If you go for the Centaur, for example, they're going to murder your Centaur in a matter of seconds, and you're not going to get the stomp buff. But things like Ghost, things like the Harpy, these are more... there are creeps that they're not going to concentrate on, and you get a small buff in the team fights because of them. Alpha Wolf is another big one, right, where you can just kind of microwave to not die. There's a couple of really useful ones. Mostly small crime creeps, actually, because the helm obviously buffs their stats.
Tower taken. BZM is within melee range of the tower, just wanting to really make sure that he doesn't miss any of these attacks. They have now forced the TPs back. Mickey does have a Shivas, by the way. Now with the Sanj online, he's going to be able to at least shrug off these stuns a tad bit easier. Same with Matumba, by the way, who's gone now for the 20 talent of the status resist. So a little bit tankier are Liquid. Not by much, but perhaps enough to make the difference.
The Syrian Chains are not really going to annoy BZM right now, who, thanks to the Strength Link, has 3.6k HP.
Amar also...
Only Tiny can burst
Amar
them.
also bought out for the Abyssal Blade.
Typical Amar fashion. There's the Abyssal Blade coming into play, and that sets up for the Spear. They're going to kill Mickey in a matter of seconds, and now Matumba is stuck again. He got back for the Gods of Yuke there.
Okay.
As the Roots, thanks to Zai, stops its aggression, but the Rax unfortunately cannot move back, and they're going to fall here.
Everyone's pretty tanky on OG. I believe what they're doing is you can actually double, of course, well, any ability with Soulbind, and you can double Wrath of Nature, and I believe that was doubled. So it's a lot of damage, but everyone is just...
Oh, it counts as target?
Yeah. Yeah, you can double it. And everyone is super tanky on OG.
Oh, right, because you target one of the Soulbind
Yes,
targets.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, so you can cast 2 of them. Even though that does kind of reduce the damage because you want to bounce around the map, but BZM, even without Elder Dragon form, he's right in onto Insania. The buyback now is immediately there. Boxy trying to make it into the fountain. I believe they missed uphill, so he's going to live.
Yes, they did.
But BZM, he's been kicked back into the fountain. Misha's going to try and save him. BZM's Courier also making a very valiant effort trying to deliver items in the enemy fountain, as does actually the Courier of Misha. So they both lost quite heavily there, but OG still get out of the base with 2 racks ahead.
Yes, and forcing a couple of buybacks in the process. Also, there was a moment where BZM, everyone accepted he was dead, and it was just Misha going, yeah, you're going to gain us a bit more time with your illusions. Do not worry. They're going to take a while to kill you. You're the best punching bag in our team. And in fact, he was. They took second racks because of that, so ended up being a pretty good play overall for OG. Yep. Liquid, once again, have to fight with only 1 set of racks. They can still do this, but their team fight is definitely not as strong as OG, so it's scarier and scarier as the game goes on.
Especially because Yuragi's hit level 25 in the midst of that push. He now has the +7 refraction instances here at level 26.
What a ridiculous
Yeah,
talent.
which really makes it a lot more difficult. Zai is probably unironically the best to break through these refraction charges. Not even with himself, of course. He's going to summon the boys and try and put Yuragi in the bone zone to try and get rid of those refraction charges. Very unlikely to really make that happen, though, especially considering Yuragi can just probably 2-tap them at this stage. Yeah, the farm is pretty ridiculous on him. Matumba does have Silver Edge, so this is where Tiny starts to get really bonkers. 412 base damage with a casual crit. This could get out of hand.
I do want to point out that the reason why he doesn't have to get melt hit bash is because Amar goes for the basher and now the Abyssal, which is why he's free to go for this ability.
Very good point.
But yes, good point on the Silver Edge. That's also going to be a nuisance to the Mars, right? Who they can't really get through easily because of the Bulwark. Not anymore, because the Silver Edge break is going to destroy that Bulwark, and they can still... And honestly, ideally, bursting on Amar early in the team fight is good because he has all the team fight. Yuragi?
Yeah, he's roll away.
There's a Ghost Scepter there, it's fine.
Boxy...
Yuragi is probably not going to nullify this game. I think you have the Shadow, the Demonic Purge, and you're fine. So it's going to happen a couple of times when Yuragi's going to be soloing the Earth Spirit.
Yep. Yeah, no, very true. And he's going to try and actually build into the Ag Scepter, which is a unique item, right? The Enchant Remnant, which now has a real cast range other than just being right next to them. Yeah. And also, you can kick yourself when you're Enchanted Remnants, which is pretty useful at cutting out enemy heroes because you are untargetable when you are in Enchant Remnant form. Liquid now trying to set up for a cute play here. They do have a ward down, so they've got good vision on where Amar is and where Yuragi is, but they don't see Taiga. Taiga still with a BK Bleed and a Black Hole at the ready. He hasn't been scouted. They know he's nearby because of the ward, so Matumba's going to make the jump. 100-0. BKB active from Matumba, but he's going to be slowed now. Amar with the first hit bash, as there's going to be now at least a good Soulbind, which does restrain Yuragi from getting in a lot of damage onto Matumba, who's going to hide in that little corner there. BZM, though, showing up to fight, throwing the stun onto Boxy, but they have now lost a second hero as Misha is going to be forced to buy back. Mickey being routed from the fight by Yuragi as the arena doesn't catch anyone. Boxy left behind as the rest of Liquid will retreat in the wake of the space he creates.
Good fight. The only thing they need, though, is to be able to have like high ground domination or so to take on the fight after the Enigma's dead, right? They have to commit so much to kill the Enigma. And honestly, I don't know what Matumba has done to people this game or this day, but he's just been the unluckiest bastard of it. Every single hit from Amar, when he needs it, is the perfect bash. Like, it can't be that you can set up for the Abyssal by bashing him, just plainly. As BZM, now the target, Matumba, also can kill him. He didn't get the break off, though, so BZM still has that extra armor. Mickey is going to be going onto the front lines. He's going to be tanking for the most part, but there's the Abyssal. Can they get a bash as well? No. This time Mickey won't be as lucky. There we go! Oh. The bash hits him right afterwards. Amar! He found the bash button and he's using it to good effect. Zai also in trouble. Yuragi
what a blink.
hoping to kill him. He does avoid it nicely, but BZM could still die regardless. He's been broken, no more armor. BZM barely surviving here, and his own fireball gets killed off by the stroke of fate. But the rest of OG still alive, and they managed to get the kill onto Zai.
Dieback for him.
With Taiga coming back in here, he still has that black hole ready. Insania will also fall. That's going to be 2 diebacks
and
here.
no one with buyback.
OG going to go for the last set of racks.
Yeah, no one with buyback. I reckon we are going to have an end to the series here, to be completely honest with you. There's just...
Matumba doesn't want to give up, though.
No, he doesn't.
It's not over until the Finnish man calls it. Until the Finnish man sings.
Until the narrator says OG victory. And not yet. It hasn't quite cried out yet.
Okay, he just realized, like, okay, I can't do anything.
He has not taken toss requires no target, so he can't look to toss anyone back into his fountain.
Oh, true, because everyone's dead.
Yep.
Matumba having a bit of an existential crisis right now in his base. What do? I'm just a pebble.
Yeah.
Oh, he gets back. He gets abyssaled. I'm sure there's going to be a Basher hitting it now.
There
we
it
go.
is.
Right
Silence.
as the arena set up.
Buyback.
And in true fashion of this game, the last kill on Matumba will be with a bash. What a pickup by Amar, honestly. That actually ended up so good for him.
Nice the buyback. They're going to be respawning with the Ember Spirit as well. Zai's only 30 seconds behind, and Boxy 15 before that. OG going to make the safe play here. They know that Roche could be up in just about 10 seconds if it's a fast spawn. Could be another 3 minutes after that, but with a 31k net worth lead, as well as having secured the Megas, OG are very, very content to now just sit back and look to close this one out in a dominating fashion. Long Roche.
Liquid, to be honest, they still do have a chance against Mega Creeps with their lineup. Like, you do have a good anti-Mega Creeps lineup, but it's a lot.
You want to say what's you want to guess what Dota Plus gives them?
1% chance.
0% chance, my friend.
0% chance. I mean, no wonder Gaben is literally not letting Matumba move with all the bashes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Actually, that's actually not a 100% chance to win. That's a 100% chance to bash. My bad, guys. I'm misreading that graph. Yeah, you're right, Avo.
There we go.
There's a DD from Matumba, so maybe this could be something here for Liquid. I mean, if there's anything that is going to get him back in the game, a DD on the Tiny certainly could be one of those things.
Yeah.
And BZM's going to break the smoke.
And they still have the Silver Edge, but it's going to expire now. No more breaks here to kill off BZM. And even with double damage, it's hard to finish him off. BKB's used up immediately for Mike.
Here goes Matumba.
Mike lack damage. There's the black hole. Finally, the one we're looking for. Even catches Matumba towards the end because of the shard.
He's got a second.
Survives it, but there's a second black hole just in case. 3 dead for Liquid. None of them have buyback. 2 of them are cores. The GG is called. OG will take the series 2-0. Amar celebrating with a Venn diagram of doom.
Zai TPs into the enemy fountain to die there. And that is going to be the 2-0 for OG. Well played. Taiga, he delayed this match after he found a bug. He wanted to beat him fair and square, and certainly did that, didn't he? 2-0 victory.